All right, in this section, we're gonna do a little bit of an introduction of two options that we have in Firebase. One is called Firestore, one is called Real-Time Databases. So let's have a look at that, and then we'll prompt to get to that little rabbit hole, which we will get in a minute. So Firebase Console, where is that? Firebase Studio is something else. Firebase Console, this one. So we have a bunch of different options with Firebase. One is called Firestore Database. One is called Real-Time Database. For this particular workflow, Real-Time Database is a good option. Why? Because the latency of this is super low, it's super fast, and the concurrency of this is super fast. Let's check it out, actually. I will bring my ChatGPT here. Can you please create a cross-tab table of Firebase Firestore and Firebase real-time databases and compare it side by side, considering my requirement, which is showing real-time click information from hundreds of users that could at the same time click. And these are basically emojis that when they click on an emoji on their phone, the same emoji is portrayed on a screen somewhere across the continents. That emoji board, or we call it a vibe stage, that screen, that big screen, will show all the emojis of people who click that type of an emoji. So that's the requirement. A lot of people are connected to this system. They're going to press these emojis, and as many times as they press the emoji, that many times that particular emoji that they pressed should be shown on the screen. I have also attached a screenshot of what that big screen will look like and how the mobile phone will look like. The mobile phone is on the right side, the screen is on the left side. So considering this architecture, please compare those two databases from Firebase. I'm using Firebase and I'm using Next.js, so let's start. I'm gonna prompt it like this so that I get a lot of insights about the thing that I'm trying to do. I'm going to put this here as full screen so that I can switch back and forth here. I need this screenshot. I forgot to put that screenshot to this context, so I'm gonna quickly do that. I think it doesn't allow me to do the screenshots anymore. I'm gonna just do it here. Sorry, I forgot to give you the screenshot. Please reevaluate everything considering this is a screenshot. I mean, there isn't much of a difference. Everything I said was super clear, but it's good to give the LLM some extra information. Okay, so you can already see there are more check marks, green check marks in the favor of real-time databases as compared to the Cloud Firestore. Let's go one by one. Latency, obviously this has a lower latency, ultra lower latency. I would like to also see some numbers because it has this number per second thing. Yeah, let's actually ask that to happen. In the comparison table, can you please put the number of concurrency that I can have per second or per minute? I think it's per second, so let's see that. It's, I think, 10,000 per second or something like that. 200,000 per database. So concurrent clients, 200,000 per database, official limit per instance. That's like 200,000 people clicking the like button at the same time, and that's 10,000 people clicking at the same time, which will never happen. I will never have in my workshops 200,000 attendees. Then 1,000 writes per second per path. A path is basically one document or one node of the document. So, and that's one write per second. So this is absolutely a no-go for us when it comes to Firestore. This thing is the one. So 1,000 people clicking at the same time concurrently, their likes will be transmitted to the other side of the screen. Optimize for multi-user sync, that's absolutely what we want. Well, actually, we don't need multi-user sync because there's only one screen on the conference site. So 60,000 emoji events per minute. So that's like 1,000 times 60 minutes. That's 60 per. So absolutely, and this is less than 300 milliseconds globally, because Google is big and it has so-called CDN, another concept that any vibe coder. Oh, I'm sorry, that was just a total fuck up. A CDN is basically a content delivery network. It is basically a fancy name to say that how many servers do you have across the continents, so that people requesting from that particular area or particular geographical location can be served from that nearby place. So this is one of the concepts. If it does not exist on my list of core concepts, I will add them. Okie dokie. So now let's go to our comparison. So it is now showing us all the information about this thing. And there was a suggested schema. That's nice. Now what I will do is, as you may have remembered, that in our best practices, I had this ChatGPT output as an input to cursor. So I will do the same thing now. I'll ask it to, okie dokie, this is now decided. Let's go with Firestore, Firebase Realtime Database. Write a detailed specification for this in English language with the schema, with sample code. I'm using Next.js. So now I'm preparing input by ChatGPT to give it to the LLM on the Claude side on Sonnet 3.7 on my cursor, and then literally build this whole feature in one shot, hopefully in one shot. So that's the purpose. That's nice. The schema, the Firebase rules. We will talk about Firebase rules in a minute, but this has to be public. Let me double check if it is talking about not null. No, use authentication. No, this is wrong. This is misunderstanding. Well, I don't want the users to be authenticated. This is a public link. Anyone can open it and then press one of those emojis. So please refactor this part. Well, actually, ChatGPT has this document feature that you can turn this into a document. Can you please turn this into a document so that I can comment in parts of this, and you don't need to regenerate the whole thing, and then you regenerate only that one part? I hope ChatGPT knows to transfer this. I think it's called a canvas. And yeah, perfect, this approach. So now I have the architecture. Let me quickly check that. Client web app, Firebase Realtime Database, stage app, that's nice. The schema, the Firebase rules, read, that's fine. If you don't understand this, you can kind of like double check this with the LLM. You ask something about certain areas. Why do I not see that? Anyways, I think it's still generating, or something is wrong that I cannot select. Here. Can you double check the rules and make sure that anyone opening the link can press on the emoji, and I can see that emoji on the screen, and they do not need to sign up for an account, so that the friction is low, you know? Anyways, let's carry on understanding, like kind of double checking this. Edited answer done. The Firebase rules now support unauthenticated public access. That's nice. This is basically a way to tell Firebase that, hey, let public write in this particular database, which is a little bit risky, but it's okay. It's just an experiment we are running. Okay, we're going to do some npm installs. We'll let Claude do that. There's some function. Okay, nice. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, perfect. So I believe if I click on this copy and I go to that temporary folder idea that I have. We don't have it in here, so I'm gonna add temp in here so that it ignores that. And then inside the temp folder, I'll ask real-time feature, real-time feature.md, and I'll paste this entire thing in here and save it. In here, I will ask Claude, can you please implement this feature that's for real-time emoji thing? You can find all the details in this documentation. So I think the at won't work because it's in, oh no, it works because it's already in the context. But if it didn't work for you and you press at, it does not show, then you can just drag and drop it like this. Okie dokie, moment of truth. We did some changes here. Before I hit enter, I just added this temp folder in here. I'm going to quickly go in edit temp. I'm going to save that change, and then I will hit enter on the here. Okay, then let's go and see what happens. Okay, it's asking to install Firebase. That's fine, absolutely what we are looking for. I'm running it. Now it's creating a firebase.ts, perfect, and it's adding all those environment variables that I need to fill in just a minute. And I will show you where to get that information from. Actually, let's go and get that information already when it is generating, so we can save some time. Let's go to our database, go to the project settings, then scroll down here. You will find all that information already available here. Just copy it, come back to the project, then we'll let this generation finish, and then I'll tell them that, okay, here is all my settings, please take it and then put it here. So it's saying that create this and then put this information here. I already have that env local. I'll just do a little bit of prompting here. I don't need to do this myself. I'll ask the chatbot to do it for me by dragging and dropping this. Can you please add this for me? Okay, we remove this, make sure that this is added. It cannot access this. For some reason it doesn't access. But anyways, I think it will just give me a list of, oh, it art coded it. It removed the things and then art coded this here, which is not a good idea. To be honest, let's go with this. Why? Because otherwise we need to touch a very important topic in deployments, which is setting up all these environment variables, which in this case I would like to ignore for now. And this is all public information. It's absolutely fine to keep it here. No harm to be done. So set up database rules. This is something that we need to set up. Let me see. The database rules are let's just go with the vibe. Okay, that should have done the job, like literally the whole thing. It is confidently asking me, but since it's a complex and big feature and I already see something red in here, let's first resolve that red thing. So you can see here there is some red things happening. I will ask it to resolve it. Tailwind CSS. Okay, now this is good. What I will do, as I showed it in the best practices, I will ask it to double check everything. Can you please double check everything that you have done and double check it with this documentation? I'm gonna give it the real-time documentation one more time. Already it's in the context, you can see it here, but it's okay. So it went down and then checked everything. It says the Firebase setup is good, the emojis, everything is good. Firebase missing items to address. We need to set up Firebase Realtime Database rules. One more time, I would like to emphasize on this that it has to be turned on in here, which is something that we forgot to do. Create a database. I think it will create it, but let's be extra sure. Or actually ask a question from the bot. So I'm gonna switch so many times between these two, so I'm gonna move it here. And let me try to create the rules directory. It created the rules directory. I can see that here, that's fine. The complete setup is done. Here, this is the important part that I was missing, that it doesn't do the deployment of these rules. Where is that part? So you see that we caught a step in between that that was crucial. We have everything in place. I will ask, I'll go to the terminal and I'll do this, Firebase projects list. I should see a list of projects and vibe stage selected. If you don't see this set up, then you can do this. Well, you need to do Firebase login, as we mentioned last time, and then use, and then the project name, enter, and then you should see this current one running. And then you run this Firebase deploy only database. Now it gives me an error because we don't have any target for this. You just take the whole error and come over here and then paste it. And then it will add the target. And then it will ask me to rerun it again. Nice. Let's rerun this. And it has a different error. Okay, we haven't created one. This is the screenshot that I took. And it said, like, I want to go with the flow, therefore I wanted to just do it there. Okay, let's stick with this terminal. There we go. The database is initiated. What is it saying? It seems like you haven't initialized a real-time database in your project. Do you want to do that? Yes, please do that. Where should it be? I think we got Europe West 1. Not sure, but let's keep that Europe West 1. The database rules already exist. Do you want to overwrite them? No. That's it. It is done. I will. Okay, another good solution is that you copy this entire thing and then you paste it here. Some people do it like this, done, but I prefer giving it the whole context. Why? Because it indexes everything that it swallows, and then it is exactly at the same place where you are. So now I give it that step. Real-time database has been initialized. Now we can deploy the database. So let's do the deployment part. There we go. The deployment is finished. And I will just go with the vibes and give this back to the Kraken and let Kraken tell me that, okay, now you run it, everything is done, you test it. Okay, the moment of truth. My heart is now beating. npm run dev. I promise this is totally unedited, totally unprepared solution, and you can tell that from my face. Whew. Let's go and check this out. So this is, I'm not sure where are these ones coming from already, and there is an error. Let's check out the error first. Analytics, get analytics. Why do I need analytics? Never mind. Let's give it to the Kraken to fix this thing first, and then we'll do our testing. Okay, it will read the part from that. The error seeing window is not defined is because get analytics from Firebase can only use the browser, not the server-side rendering. Okay, it's just a server-side rendering thing. So it automatically added this so-called Firebase Analytics, which is a great tool to capture a lot of analytics. This is a method that I'm doing when I want to kind of like ignore the above part so that I can see that if things have resolved. And I still don't see that that is gone. Let's see. Did I need to restore something? No, still I see the same thing. So let's get this time, not the screenshot. Same thing. Can you double check if everything is intact? Okay, dokie. This is going to be awesome if it works. Well, let's remove it then. It's just that it's a setup problem with Next.js because Next.js has the server-side rendering thing and it's creating problems, and we never ask for analytics, so it's okay. But why did it delete the database? Okay. Can you double check everything if everything is intact? And I see that you have deleted also the database. Oh no, actually it didn't delete the database. Oh, it just moved it. Okay, no. I'll just say, can you please double check if everything based on the documentation provided is intact, except this analytics, which I never asked for, but remember this, that we don't need analytics for now. This is another important thing that, or a nice thing to say, like remember. When you say remember and then an LLM is intelligent, it will kind of like remember for the next couple of conversations that particular setup that you give it. So it is going on. It's a big ask because it's gonna review the code that it changed, and we have done a lot of work so far. Meanwhile, we can have like a quick skim through what has been added and see things around. Looks good to me. I'm not sure why Tailwind CSS was added at this point because I never asked for it, but it's LLM, it can hallucinate. Okay, so the testing is going on. Render grid of emoji using render a grid of emoji. Okay, it is the web the mobile version that uses the grid. Okay, everything seems to be all right. Now the moment of truth. Let's go here. Refresh. I'm not sure where these are coming from, but let's give it the first try. No, not working. I was worried if it worked. If it would work, I would be worried because this was very, very early. If it would have worked, it would be very, very early. Anyways, so it supposedly works, but let's go and check our database, our real-time database. At least if it is storing it, then we can see if anything happens. Okay, it is not storing. You can see it is a null value. And I'm gonna quickly copy this, paste it, and go here and screenshot. Can you double check? Because when I click on the emojis on the mobile view, on the emoji phone view, I see that it is the click is working, but I don't see anything added in the database. Check the screenshots so that I emphasize on that. And I also go here and click a few more times these ones and take a screenshot and add it. Another part that's important is like, can you please add enough logs so that I can copy paste the logs for you so that you can find out what is going wrong? This is an important part. Like if you ask the LLM to add logs for you, then it will create a lot of information trail that you, without knowing coding, can copy paste that log that it created give it back to the LLM, and then it will find its problem. Okay, open the browser console, click on emoji in mobile. Okay, it just added the logs, but let's see, absolutely helping. Okay, then it makes sense that we create some more logs. It doesn't create a lot of logs, but let's see why the font size got too small. Still nothing happens. And also on the back end, there is no logs happening. Okay, so let's give it a last shot. Still nothing happens, and there are not enough logs. And can you make sure that you double check everything and make sure that the database entries are happening? Because in the database entry, I see a null value. See the screenshot. So let's go and get that database entry one more time. Yep, it's there, but it's null. So I believe that the whole message was ruined. Check the screenshots. The database shows null, and I don't see a lot of logs anyways, because I didn't see this event to push log that it was added here. Event button. This event to push. I don't see that right here. Emoji, but no event to push. We don't have any filters. That's fine. We'll take care of why the zoom in happened. The grid went off, this grid of this part. It's mobile phone, but should have not went that small. I'm gonna just zoom it in for now, but it lost the CSS. Okay, so now the detail logs, absolutely. Okay, it is going in a loop. It's doing the same thing. Let me know which component views if you want me to check. Yes, please check. Perfect situation. The recording is getting bigger. What I would like to do is in kind of like 1 or 2 minutes, if we could not find a solution to this or unblock this, perfect example of the time when we need to refresh the context, because we have done a lot of things and there was like a big chunk of information that went inside the context window. It's the time that we need to refresh it by clicking this button and then reprompting it and double checking it from a totally different perspective. But before doing that, I would like to lay down the stage and explain how can we do such a thing. So let's give it this last chance and let's see what happens. Okay, I saw more data and more logs going on. Okay, that's nice. Let's check our database. Still, I see the database null, but at least the logs are going on very well. Okie dokie. So what I will do is I'll stop the video here, but before I stop it, I would like to git push. But this time I'm going to use this work in progress tag, and I'll say adding real-time database. Hit enter. Okay, just to recap what we have covered so far. What we literally went through a detailed documentation on Google, on ChatGPT, and then we brought that document to the /temp folder and we added a prompt to generate that, and we did a bunch of prompts, and right now this is not working. In the next section, we're going to make it work. See you there.